it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today with a fun video, 10 tips to sew your stash. This video actually was kind of an idea that my daughter had as she's been managing the comments in our Facebook group. She said, "Mom, I noticed that lots of women are sewing along with your block of the month with their stash, and it seems like there's lots of comments in the group about sewing with their stash." And she said, "I think you should do a video about that." So that's where the idea sort of got its start, and I'm super excited to share tips with you today and also to reference back to a couple other videos that you might have missed, just to make sure that you can get all this information and have a great year of quilting. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first of all, in January of 2024, we will link to that video. I did do a kind of 5 tips to jumpstart your decluttering. And so if that's kind of what you're looking for, or even if you want to do that and then come back to this, that has a little bit different angle than what I'm going to talk about today. So just some things to just kind of get your room ready to go so that you can progress for the new year. And then also on the first Thursday in January, I talked about getting ready for the year, and I shared this printable where you can record your quilt projects that you want to do. I talked about coming up with a bank of projects and goals that you want to do, and then quarterly looking at them. And that printable also has on the back a place for works in progress, just for 12, but as I mentioned, you could print off more copies if you have more projects. So today's video kind of goes along with what we posted in January, but this is kind of like, let's sew our stash. Let's use what we have. And so I have 10 tips for you today. I do want to start, before I get into the tips, I want to share something that I found. A lot of you have seen these art bin storage containers. I love them. They lock, they have a handle. I keep projects in here. This one doesn't have a label, but I usually use my label maker and label what is included in the bin. But I recently just bought this. It's a double deep art bin, and I am so excited with how much it holds. I've actually got all of my raspberry summer scraps in here right now, and they're just a mess. I just kind of threw them all in here. But I am going to go through and kind of sort I've even got leftover half square triangles. I've got a partial charm pack, but I am going to go through here and kind of sort and organize them and fold them by color and separate them so it's more usable. But I love having this size of bin. It does come with some plastic dividers. I'm not going to use these, but I wanted to show them to you that it does come with them, so you can actually divide this into sections, so that might be helpful for other things that you want to store. But this is just kind of new to me. Some of you might have already known about these double deep containers, but I love it because also, you know, if I were traveling to a retreat or somewhere that I was going to teach, it would just be a great way to take a lot of stuff and carry it in an easy manner. So just wanted to share that with you, and I will be sorting through this as I want to use my stash this year too, and I've got some great scraps in here. Okay, so the first tip I'm going to give you is just to clear off your workspaces. It's actually kind of also goes along with what we did last month, but just clear off those workspaces. I can't believe what a difference that makes. We actually did a photo shoot in here right before Christmas of a new fabric collection that we're going to be sharing with you at the end of next month. And you know what I did? I went through the whole room and I took everything out and I put it in our guest room. So all my flat spaces were cleared, the photos were beautiful. And then what I did was I left everything in that room and I brought it in slowly and found a place for it, so that all my flat surfaces have stayed pretty clear. You can't see behind, but other than one little sewing machine over here that is kind of cluttered, Everything has stayed really clear, and it's been super helpful because I think I've sewed about 6 quilts since I cleared off those flat surfaces, and it stayed relatively clean. So clear off your flat surfaces. Another tip is to make a list of works in progress and projects that you want to start. And so that's basically the video from early January. Make this, go through and make this list, and also fill out the works in progress. That is going to help you sew your stash more than anything. So number 1, clear off the flat surfaces. Number 2, fill out this printable. Number 3 is to kind of take a quick inventory of what you have that you want to sew. I know people that do really detailed lists. They go through their cupboards and their drawers and they make a list of every single fat quarter bundle that they have, every single jelly roll that they have. You can do that. Or if you have a lot and you want to simplify it, you can just take the things that maybe you want to use this year and make a list of those. So maybe you have some fabric that you definitely want to get used this year while you're still able to get border and backing and binding that matches. So you can do all-inclusive, or to make it easier for you, you can just make a quick inventory of things you want to use this year. Okay, number 4, I love the idea of using leaders and enders, always having something ready to sew. And if you're not familiar with that leaders and enders term, if you have, say, a scrap project that you're working on where you're just sewing squares together, if you keep them by your sewing machine and you always have something that, if you don't really have a plan for that day, that you can always come sit down and sew, or sew a few before you start what you're really working on or right after you finish, that's a great way to use your stash. Come up with a leaders and enders, usually a scrap project. It could be making 4 patches or 9 patches. And just have those pieces cut and just ready to go right by your sewing machine. Number 5, and it kind of goes back to these boxes, is to have a home for all of your projects. I try to keep things in labeled bins or boxes. I have a couple things in drawers, but I find that if I don't have a home for my project, then I'm not likely to work on it. Because if I do have a home, I can put it out of sight and out of mind, and I always know where to go back and get it. Okay, the next tip for using your stash this year is to practice something that I call double quilting. You might have heard me talk about this before. I feel like I've been talking about it almost as long as we've been doing YouTube videos. This is something that I used to do basically when I was sewing for Joanna, sewing for Camille, and also I used to do it a lot when I would get the Fat Quarter Shop Designer Mystery Block of the Month. I would go ahead and I would make a second quilt from my scraps while I was sewing that project. So for example, making a Designer Mystery Block of the Month, make those blocks every month, but then also go through your stash and use your Christmas fabrics and make another version of that same quilt. So I've always just called it double quilting, but it is a great way to use your stash. And I have also seen some of you doing that in the Facebook group where you're actually making 2 versions of our block of the month. So that's just a great way to move through your stash. Just if you're making something and you really like it and you think you'd love a scrappy version or maybe a version from a collection that you have in your stash already, go ahead and do it. Do that double quilting. Okay, number 7 is to make small projects from your stash. Sometimes when I have project leftovers, I will realize, hey, this is enough for a table runner, or hey, I might be able to make a bag for my friend out of these scraps, or I might be able to make a pillow. So number 7 is to make small projects with your stash. And you can either designate a certain day, weekend of the month that you want to work on that, or just do it whenever the time feels right. I have friends that really designate each Saturday of the month doing something different. So you could look at that. You could make a small project Saturday, the 3rd Saturday of every month, or whatever works for your schedule. And If you're not home that day, that's fine. But if you are home on a third Saturday, you know you're gonna make a small project. So that's number 7, to make small projects with those little leftovers. Okay, number 8 is something I call the power hour. And I'm pretty sure I got this from productivity experts, and I just kind of adapted it to quilting. And just set up a power hour for yourself where you can either have a list of small tasks that just take a few minutes to do, or you can just work an hour and just nonstop on something and have that be about your stash. So in other words, just set up a power hour for your stash once a month or once a quarter, however you want to do it, where you just kind of go through and organize it and go back and look at these lists that you've made and see if you need to make any adjustments. Just schedule an hour where you know that you're going to, look at everything and reassess. Okay, number 9 is use the just 3 things principle, and this is also a time management productivity tip. But if you're a little bit overwhelmed by all of this, just decide on 3 things that you're going to do this year with your stash. Maybe you're going to just only organize your low volumes, or maybe you're going to get all of your Christmas fabrics organized, or all of your red, white, and blue fabrics, or Minnick and Simpson, they're not designing fabric anymore. So maybe you're going to, do something phenomenal with all of the scraps that you have left over from their collections. But just pick 3 things for the year and work on those. And finally, number 10 is a planned stash quilt. And to me, I sometimes have a hard time just picking things and just doing them. I want a little bit of planning involved, and so I have a couple of ideas for you. One idea is that you can do a planned stash quilt with fabrics by one designer. So pick all your leftovers from one designer. They usually go together pretty well, even if they might not on first glance look like they will. You can usually take project leftovers from different collections by one designer and come up with something really fun. Another idea for a planned stash quilt is to use a color theme. So maybe you want to make a blue and cream stash quilt. Go through, it doesn't matter what designer is, pull things that look good. There you've got a project for you. Put it all in a box like this. And when you don't know what to work on that project. You can come up with lots of different things. You can do a holiday theme. You can do sometimes I will take a fat quarter bundle and just kind of pull some things from my stash to go with it, maybe more lights, or maybe something from one of our collections that goes well with another designer collection. So come up with some different planned stash quilts and have those ready to go. Okay, so there we have my 10 tips to sew with your stash this year. Enjoy using those fabrics. You loved them when you bought them, and so have fun deciding how to incorporate them into your year of sewing. And honestly, and this is something I probably should have mentioned earlier, if there's something that you just really don't want to sew with, then donate it. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it with a friend, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much for stopping by.